Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. In a number of series that we are doing, one of the series that we also do is about planets placed in the different nakshatras of other planets. Now we haven't gone to the individual nakshatras yet, because our strategy on this channel is to first start at 70,000 feet level, then go down to 50,000 feet level, and then go down to a very intricate level, and then maybe to a very intimate level also, to the very depths of what a certain placement means. So we have already done the placement of Rahu, Venus and Mercury in the nakshatras of other planets. Today we will be doing the placement of the planet Moon, or the planetary energy Moon, or the luminary Moon in the nakshatras of other planets. Now, one thing that we do on this channel, for instance, we go to the very depths, though we start right at the top, but even when we talk about, say for example, the median level, which we are talking about now, Moon in the nakshatras of Mercury, Moon in the nakshatras of Rahu and so forth, we also, while we talk even at an intermediate level, we still go to the depths to be able to understand the placement better, and you will see through this video what I am talking about. So on very few channels you will find that we go down to that depth that you will be able to understand the placement better, the overall energy better. For example, if I am talking about Moon being placed in the nakshatras ruled by Mercury, then it has to be, care has to be taken whether the Moon going into the nakshatras of Mercury is a different meaning from Moon going into the signs ruled by Mercury. For example, the signs ruled by Mercury are Gemini and Virgo, but Mercury ruled nakshatras are not in the signs ruled by Mercury. So that care has to be taken that the meaning of Moon in the sign ruled by Mercury in Gemini or Virgo is a different dissemination than Moon going in the nakshatras ruled by Mercury. And also to an element, whether it has earth energies, air energies, fire energies, water energies, and how all these 3 or 4 factors coming together and then giving you a certain result. So we go down right down to the bottom to understand certain placements, and so you get a maximum out of this channel, you get a maximum out of the videos that we do. And so if you are somebody who is a regular viewer on this channel, but if you have not subscribed yet, if you have not liked my videos yet, and you generally don't like a video, you just see it and then you go on, then please, if you find that my channel is value adding channel, my videos do answer some important queries in your life, do answer some questions, then please help others also get access to these videos, get access to this channel by virtue of you subscribing to my channel, pressing the bell notification, liking this video and even sharing this video, because then others will also have access to these videos, because YouTube then promotes these videos further. So earn some good karma while you are also earning some good advice, some good wisdom from these videos from this channel. So now let's go on about Moon when it's placed in the nakshatras ruled by the other planets. Here we are not talking about the signs but nakshatras. There is a separate video where we have already talked about Moon in different houses, Moon in different signs as well. Today we are talking about Moon going into the nakshatras ruled by different planets. Let's jump right into it. Now when Moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by the Sun, Sun itself is a very strong luminary, and Sun is one of the most important planets in the horoscope, because Sun also represents the soul. Moon is also very important because Moon is the second luminary, and it is also one which also reflects the light of the Sun. So it in a way reflects the light of the soul. However, in many shlokas it has been said that the soul goes where the mind goes. So Sun also follows the trajectory of the Moon, or the soul follows the trajectory of the mind, the manas, which Moon has been described as. So when Moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by the Sun, now what are the nakshatras which are ruled by the Sun? They are the Kritika nakshatra, Uttara Falguni nakshatra and the Uttarashada nakshatra. Now care to be seen is that, or to be noted is that Sun ruled nakshatras are mostly in the air signs rather than in the fire signs. Only one pada of Kritika, Uttara Falguni and Uttarashada are in the Aries sign, Leo sign and Sagittarius sign. However, three nakshatras, three padas of Kritika, three padas of Uttara Falguni and three padas of Uttarashada all are in the earth signs, or namely Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. Which means while moon is placed in the nakshatras ruled by sun, there is less of fire energies and there is more of earth energies. That has to be kept in mind when you are looking at the manifestation of moon in the nakshatras ruled by sun. So you also have to look at what does the nakshatra mean. Now we will go into the depths of each individual nakshatra later on in a different series. Today we are talking about at a 50,000 feet level, but while looking at the final dissemination, moon going into the nakshatras ruled by sun. Now it's important to look at why moon going into the nakshatras or different planets is important. Here we are talking about sun, because when moon goes into a certain nakshatra, it also becomes your birth nakshatra, ruling nakshatra, and so this video or this placement becomes very, very important. So now when moon goes into the nakshatra ruled by sun, so it has both the fire energies and earth energies, but majorly earth energies, which means here the mind is more steady, is more rock solid on what he or she wants to achieve, the person wants to achieve. So mind is also more about, when it goes especially in say Kritika, because it has earth energies of Taurus, so this is also more about material manifestation, but because the fire energy is also there, it is also about how with a lot of goal orientation you go and you try to achieve your goals, because there is more earth energy of being rock solid in what you want, how you want, where you want it, but there is also the fire energy, the motivation is also there. So when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by sun, the mind has a lot of motivation and strong willpower, and it also knows what it wants, and it is very rock solid. So whether in the relationship that person wants, or person wants some results in career, or person wants to follow an educational degree, this is a person who will focus a lot of attention and with a lot of resolve and with a lot of steadiness to be able to achieve results. So unless there is a challenge in terms of moon getting under the bad aspect or under a bad conjunction, this is a pretty solid placement of the moon while being in the nakshatras of sun, and here both the energies of both the luminaries come together. A very strong placement for the moon, a very goal orientation, achievement placement, achievement orientation placement of the moon in the nakshatras ruled by the sun. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mercury, one needs to note that the nakshatras ruled by Mercury are not in the signs ruled by Mercury, which is neither the Gemini sign, neither in the Virgo sign. All the Mercury ruled nakshatras are in the water signs. So if moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mercury, then it will go into the water signs of Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces, being in the nakshatras of either Aslesha or Jyeshtha or Revati. So here, because Mercury energies are also there of steadfastness, solidity, also a lot of intellect, a lot of practicality, logic, but the water sign energies are also there. So here this mind is very fluid mind, which means the person will take his or her decision with a lot of focus, with a lot of practicality, with a lot of logic, also weighing the goods or the bads of the decision making, and make intellectual choices, intelligent choices, logical choices. But yet the person will be flexible enough, and so this person, whether in a relationship or in a career, they will be very fluid in their choices. While they make practical choices, while they make intelligent choices, they will also be flexible on if propose something better, or if they find that they need to make some sacrifices, they need to make some compromises, they will also do that. But because moon going into the nakshatras ruled by the water signs, so there is also some emotionality which also comes in, especially if it goes into Aslesha, because it has Cancer energies. On the other hand, if it goes into Jyeshtha ruled by Scorpio, then there is also fair degree of holding back, or there is also fair degree of magnetism attached to this moon. On the other hand, if it goes into the Revati nakshatra, which has Pisces energy, this is also about a lot of daydreaming, also sometimes losing focus, because it has more water energies and the flowing water energies, the ocean energies which Pisces represents. So on the whole, moon going into the nakshatras of Mercury will get both good and bad of both the sides, where it has the intellectual capacity, the logical capacity, but also the flexible capacity, and also be able to make the emotional decisions while being somebody with empathy, somebody with understanding, somebody also being a more nurturing, supportive dimension while still being practical and logical. And that is the meaning of moon when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mercury. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Venus, now one thing which one needs to note is that the Venus ruled nakshatras are not in the Venus ruled signs. So Venus ruled nakshatras are neither in the sign of Taurus or neither in the sign of Libra. The Venus ruled nakshatras are all in the fire signs. So Bharani has all its 4 padas in Aries, Purva Falguni has all its 4 padas in Leo, and Purva Ashada, the third nakshatra ruled by Venus, all the 4 padas are in Sagittarius sign. All the 3 are fire signs. So when moon, the mind goes into the nakshatras ruled by Venus, the materialistic approach of Venus is also there, and with the fear, resolve, willpower, goal orientation which the fire sign brings. Though there is a difference between Aries, Leo and Sagittarius nakshatras, but all the 3 being fire nakshatras or fire sign nakshatras, based nakshatras, so there is a lot of fierce resolve, a lot of goal orientation to it also. But because these are all Venus ruled nakshatras, this also means that the mind is both moving towards materialism, but also at the same time is moving towards attainments of the goals, but with a fierce resolve. However, here the materialism is for a higher goal, for a bigger goal. This is not the base materialism that I want to buy this car or I want to date that girl. This is not the base materialism. There is a higher materialism, which means a higher goal based materialism, which means I want to have a good relationship, or I want to have a job or a career where I will be able to get a good role, I will be able to get a good remuneration, I will be able to work for a good brand, rather than I want to earn so much money so that I can buy that house. So this is not the base remuneration looking moon. This is the higher goal, higher materialistic value looking moon. So if moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Venus, this is a person who is also soft. This is also a person who likes the good life, the good quality of life, and has a higher, larger material goals rather than the base goals, and also has a lot of energy to be able to acquire those goals, focus on the goals with a lot of fierce resolve, willpower also. And so generally this person usually gets successful, sometimes maybe over a period of time based on how the overall placements in the horoscope are, but definitely a good placement as long as you are able to control the fire energy, the resolve energies that the fire sign energies bring in when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Venus. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by itself, but which means moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by the moon itself. Now all the moon ruled nakshatras have the earth energies. The reason being is that none of the moon ruled nakshatras are in any of the water signs, and not in even in the Cancer sign which moon rules. All the 3 nakshatras which moon rules are in the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo or Capricorn. So all the 4 padas of Rohini, all the 4 padas of Hasta, and all the 4 padas of Shravana, all 3 moon ruled nakshatras, all of them are in the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn respectively. Now what does this mean? On one hand you have strong moon, emotions, empathy, nurturing, caring, and also understanding empathy based energies, but on the other hand there is a fierce resolve of the earth, steadfastness of the earth energies. So this is a steady mind, this is not a wavering mind, this is not an over emotional mind, this is a very grounded mind. So this is the person who knows, who understands the vagaries of life, the high meaning of life, and also wants to be steadfast. So if this person is in a relationship, this is a person who will be very steadfast in his or her relationship. If the person makes up his or her mind to be able to attain a certain goal, get into a certain education or acquire certain qualification, then this person will have a steadfast mind, will also be very steadfast, will not be wavering. Today I want to do this, after a few months want to do something else, or being in one relationship after a few months being in some other relationship. This is a steadfast mind and will not let go of relations or career or something that they value easily or let go of it in a huff. These are fierce earth-based energies of being very steadfast in what you want. Now each of the nakshatras will bring in their own flavor when moon goes into Rohini or Hasta or Shravana, and so those either being higher materialistic, fervor what Taurus brings in, or higher logical or practical mind which Virgo brings in, or the karma, the work orientation that Capricorn brings in, that will be a separate one. We'll talk about it in the separate video. However, when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by itself, this is a mind which is very focused on nurturing others, supporting others, very empathetic mind, very understanding mind, yet a very steady mind, valuing relationship, valuing job, valuing career, valuing education. And this is a person who you can depend on, fall back on, and expect the person to stand by you, and also to be able to acquire lot of materialistic results also in life, but at the same time a very strong, committed, value-based person who will stand by you through thick or thin. And that is the meaning of the placement of moon in its own rule nakshatras. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mars, now Mars nakshatras had either the earth energies or the air energies. In fact, it is a equal split between the two. So when you're talking about the nakshatras such as Mrigashira, 2 padas of Mrigashira are in the Taurus sign and 2 padas of Mrigashira are in the Gemini sign. Similarly, the Chitra nakshatra ruled by Mars, you will find 2 padas are in Virgo and 2 padas are in Libra. And when you look at the Dhanishta nakshatra, you will find that the first and second pada of Dhanishta are in Capricorn, whereas the third and fourth pada of Dhanishta are in the Aquarius sign. So there's an equal split between the earth and the air energies. So this is the balance that the Mars ruled nakshatras bring in terms of achievement. Why there is steadfastness also, but there is also equally air energies of being able to move fast and between choices, between decisions as well. So when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mars, this has Mars energies because Mars has a lot of goal orientation, but because the nakshatras are going into the air and the earth energy, so there is a lot of steadfastness also. So once the person makes a decision, makes a choice, the person holds on to that choice. This is the quick decision making that the person does because moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mars. Is very goal oriented also, has a fierce resolve, has a strong focus on what he or she wants to achieve, but at the same time there is a lot of steadfastness also in what they want to achieve. And this person can also quickly move, is very flexible because the air energies are involved, can also move quickly between one decision or the others, or can move between careers, can also move between choices, and in fact can be pretty balanced, being able to see the pros and cons on both the sides. So if moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mars, this is a person who is very steadfast in his or her goal orientation, is also quick in decision making, has a lot of fierce resolve, has a strong focus, has a killer's instinct also to be able to achieve what he or she has put their focus on, but it's a very nurturing person, very caring person, and will also do a lot of goal orientation or achievement, but with a lot of understanding, with a lot of empathy, being very supportive of relationship and being supportive of the people who are in the vicinity or in the surrounding, in the career or in relationship or in the family. So this is a good moon to have in the Mars ruled nakshatras. If you have moon in the nakshatras ruled by Mars, be able to understand and channelize these energies very well, because these are very strong energies, but these can be destructive if allowed to go beyond your hands. And that is the meaning when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Mars. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Jupiter, now the Jupiter ruled nakshatras have either the air energies or the water energies. In fact, it has 3 padas in the air energies or the air sign and 1 pada in the water sign. So all the 3 nakshatras ruled by Jupiter, whether it is Punarvasu or Vishakha or Purva Bhadrapada, they have major energies of the air signs and some energies of the water signs. But the air energies will have a higher controlling factor of the nakshatra rather than the water nakshatra, rather than the water dissemination. However, this is a person who is both quick to move between resolutions, between choices, but also fluid enough, flexible enough, compromising enough, but also has the large heartedness of Jupiter, also has the wisdom that Jupiter brings in. Now care has to be taken that Jupiter ruled nakshatras, while they give you large heartedness, they also give you the wisdom, but because moon has gone into these nakshatras, it also means this is also very nurturing person and a large heart person. So usually these people are the most giving people in a relationship or in a job or in a career or in any partnership. And because they have more air energies, they are more giving than the others, because they are more quicker in their choices, they are more flexible in their choices. And because water energies are also there, they are more flexible also to be able to see why some things have to be parted, some things have to be given, some things have to be nurtured, supported more than the others. So this is one of the most flexible placement of moon when it goes into the nakshatras of Jupiter. And because it is Jupiter ruled nakshatras, and here we are talking about moon, so this person generally gives the most, does the most, but sometimes gets the least in a relationship, in a job, in a partnership. So if your moon has gone into the nakshatras ruled by Jupiter, some of the nakshatras will give you much more than what you aim to get in the life, aim to get in the job. However, some of the nakshatras, for example Vishakha, can be some troublemaking placement also, because it has one pada going into the Scorpio sign. Whereas in the Purva Bhadra pada, you will also have a lot of more emotionality rather than material fervor. So be careful when moon goes into the Jupiter nakshatras. Don't be over giving, but also have a balance between what you are able to get out of the relationship, what you are able to get out of the job, and how much you contribute, how much which you give. And that is the meaning of moon when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Jupiter. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn, you need to take note that the Saturn ruled nakshatras are in the water signs, and none of them are either in the signs ruled by Saturn, neither are they in the Capricorn sign or in the Aquarius sign. All the Saturn ruled nakshatras, whether you are talking about Pushya or Anuradha or Uttara Bhadrapada, all the four padas of each are either in the Cancer sign or Scorpio sign or the Pisces sign. Completely water based nakshatras or water sign based nakshatras. So while you have the qualities of Saturn, of commitment, of loyalty, of hard work or discipline coming in, but this is one of the most flexible of persons when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn. So moon has a lot of empathy, moon has a lot of nurturing spirit, supportive spirit, and the servility, the servitude of Saturn, because moon has gone into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn. So this is a person who wants to serve most, and wants to serve most not because just about the duty and commitment which Saturn brings in, but also because of the person actually feels that the person should serve, because the person feels for the person, feels for the relationship, feels for the cause, feels for the project, feels for the team. So there is a lot of understanding, empathy, attachment also to the work they want to do, to the duty that they have to do. There is a lot of commitment and loyalty, but also a lot of emotions attached to what they do. So this is a good moon when it goes into the nakshatras of Saturn. It is good to be with such people, because one of the most loyal people, one of the most committed people, one of the most flexible people, but one of the most emotional people also, because moon is going into the water signs when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn, and all the four padas of each, Pushya, Anuradha, Uttara Bhadrapada, all in the water signs of Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces. So if you have the moon in the nakshatras ruled by Saturn, this is a very dedicated, committed, loyal, emotional, attached person, very very flexible, one of the most giving people also, but one of the most flexible people also, ready to give off even what is rightfully theirs, dutifully theirs, and giving off without batting an eyelid. If you have the moon in the nakshatras ruled by Saturn, then take care that don't give too much because of duty, emotions and your empathy. Also see whether the person deserves that much of giving, that much of flexibility, and don't waste your emotions, especially if you feel that you're getting less out of it, that relationship, that job is serving you less. And that is the meaning of moon going into the nakshatras ruled by Saturn. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, you need to note that all the Rahu ruled nakshatras are in the air signs, and all the four padas of either Ardra or Swati or Satabhishak, all the three Rahu ruled nakshatras, all of them are in the air signs. All the four padas of each of these nakshatras are in Gemini or Libra or Aquarius. So each one of them will also bring in the quality of the sign energies also. However, because moon is involved here and Rahu is involved here, because moon is gone into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, so here the mind is very empathy oriented, is very nurturing, very supportive, very attached also, but also has the tact, the diplomacy of Rahu also, the intellect of Rahu also. Very, very intelligent people. These are very intuitive people also. They are also very sharp. They know where somebody is lying, where somebody is going wrong, where somebody may have a wrong intention. But because these are nakshatras ruled by Rahu, many a times the person himself may be misled by Rahu into a wrong relationship, into a wrong job, into a wrong career, maybe even a wrong career choice or even a wrong qualification choice, only to then turn around later, or only to regret later when you get into a wrong relationship, or only to turn back and take a different tangent when you get into a different career. So this is initially a troublesome placement where to settle down in life takes some time, and Rahu takes you all over the place before you settle down, where the moon takes over. If your moon placed in the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, take care that you don't become over flexible, because here the nakshatras all have the air energies. And also be careful about thinking twice when you are taking a decision, because you could be misled because of the nakshatras ruled by Rahu. Now, depending on whether the moon goes into Ardra or Swati or Satabhisha, the results will be different. We will talk about moon going and planets going into individual nakshatras later on in a different series. However, note that each of the nakshatras will bring in their own flavor, but at a 40,000 feet level, this is a sharp mind, this is an achievement oriented placement. So don't waste your energies. Be careful of what choices you make, because then turning back and correcting those choices later on may not be easy. So you may unnecessarily lose time, you may unnecessarily lose your energy and your focus and your goal orientation, chasing behind the wrong tree, chasing behind the wrong relationship. So if your moon going into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu, take your time, make your choices more intelligently rather than allowing emotions to get the better of you, and don't be taken over by hunger or greed or the shortcuts which Rahu may force you to take, but take more intelligent decisions. Take time to make those decisions, because if you take time, if you are making diligent choices, then this is one of the best placement for moon when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu. It can give you both material gains, it can also give you big gains at a society level. One of the best placement for huge achievement at a mass social level is the placement of moon when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Rahu. Now when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu, note that all the three nakshatras ruled by Ketu are all in the fire signs. So Ashwini or Magha or Mula, all three nakshatras ruled by Ketu, all of them, all the four padas of each of these nakshatras are in the Aries sign or Leo sign and the Sagittarius sign. So what is when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu? Ketu is a energy of detachment, giving up. So here the person wants to do more, wants to contribute more, wants to be able to do more for others rather than self, even detaching themselves from the results of the relationship that they are in, or the goal they are in, or the value that they are attached to a certain cause that they believe in. So here when moon goes into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu, this is a person who looks at the larger goal rather than self. So larger reason why the relationship exists, larger reason why the family has to be nurtured, larger reason why the team has to be supported, larger goal why the department has to come before yourself. So the person will be giving off more, doing more for others, and with a fierce resolve and with the fierce fire energies that the fire signs bring in to these three nakshatras. So a lot of giving, lot of higher manifestation, higher causes that the person believes in, and looks at self last, or sometimes never looks at self. So if you have moon going into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu, you will find these people will have long stable relationship once they know they are in the right one. So making the right choice is important. Many times in trying to give too much, not looking at themselves, they get into wrong relations, wrong careers, also wrong turns also where their jobs are concerned. Once they make up their mind that this is the right relationship for me, this is the right role for me, this is the right organization for me, then these people are one of the most stable people. Yet they put in a lot of energy to be able to give, to be able to contribute, working for the larger cause, working for the relation, working for the family, working for the organization. And seldom do these people look at themselves. And many times later on in life, after many years have gone, these people sometimes realize, what did I get out of this relationship? What did I get out of supporting my children? What did I get out of the job or the career that I followed? I got less, I gave most, I contributed the most. So look at yourself also. Don't allow your moon to be completely nurturing, supporting and giving off to others, sometimes even emotionally giving off to others, but also to take a balance, because life is not only about giving, life is also about achievement, also for others but also for self. And that is the meaning of moon when it goes into the nakshatras ruled by Ketu. So friends, now that we talked about when moon goes into the nakshatra ruled by different planets, check where in which nakshatras moon is placed. Also note which sign energies it carries, because the sign energies will have their own sway, the planets energies will also have their own contribution, the nakshatras will also have their own contribution. We will talk more about moon going into each of the nakshatras later, but this is a very important placement, because moon going into a certain nakshatra also becomes your birth nakshatra. So gauge the placement well, understand the placement well and use it to your advantage, rather than giving off many times that the moon can get into when you get too emotionally attached to a relationship or to a cause. So friend, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.